Congress just passed a massive bill, H.R. 1, or the Big Beautiful Bill. They say it's about fiscal responsibility. They say it's about protecting America's future. But here's the truth, this bill slashes basic support for working people while protecting the rich and powerful. And even with the cuts, it still adds almost $3 trillion to the national debt. So today, we're breaking it all down. What's in this bill, who it hurts, who it helps, and why it matters to all of us. This law is long, but its message is loud. Let's start with what it cuts. SNAP benefits. That's food stamps. Millions of Americans rely on these to feed their families. Medicaid. Low income seniors, pregnant women, and disabled Americans will see services shrink. Rental assistance and housing aid. At a time when homelessness is rising, these programs are being gutted. Student loan forgiveness wiped out. Clean energy and climate funding gone. That means fewer jobs, more pollution, and rising utility bills. And if you're thinking, well, maybe this will help reduce the national debt, we'll come back to that. But spoiler, it does not. Let's talk about who gets hit the hardest. Black and brown communities, historically under-resourced, disproportionately affected by poverty, and already carrying the burdens of systemic inequality. Low income workers. Many are working full-time jobs but still rely on SNAP or Medicaid just to survive. This bill doesn't help them, it punishes them. Rural communities. Yes, many red states, rural Americans rely on these same social programs. These cuts don't ask who you voted for, they just take. People with disabilities, students, the elderly, folks already fighting for dignity are the first ones thrown under the bus. So, who does this benefit? The ultra wealthy. This bill protects the Trump era tax cuts that primarily benefit the top 1%. Corporations, massive subsidies, and loopholes remain untouched. Border enforcement contractors. The bill increases funding for immigration enforcement and border militarization while cutting basic aid for people already here. Private prison operators. With cuts to support programs and more money for enforcement, guess who gets more business? This isn't about responsibility. It's about rewarding the rich and powerful. Now, here's the part that really shows their hand. Even with all these cuts, HR 1 adds nearly $3 trillion to the national debt. Why? Because when you protect tax breaks for billionaires while getting programs for working people, the math doesn't work. The math doesn't math. So let's be honest. This was never about balancing the budget. It was about balancing power and tipping it even further toward the top. Right now, millions of Americans are struggling, and instead of relief, this bill brings removal of healthcare, of housing, of food, of opportunity. But if we stay informed, we can resist. Talk to your people, watch your local representatives, follow Smart Brown Girl 121 and Smart Brown Girl 4 for breakdowns that connect the dots. Because the law they quietly pass always hit the real world loud. Subscribe on Substack, follow on TikTok, Instagram, and Truth Tools can be found on Etsy. My link tree is in my bio. Follow me on all socials. Stay informed and stay safe.